Welcome to the Bucs Gambling Show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 14 Vegas spread picks. I'm ready to get rolling. It is a complicated week, but once again, we will finish in the money. Slam the like button. Let's get to the first game. Thursday night football. We're going to Detroit. We got the Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Lions minus 3.5. Lions winning the cover. I don't think this is a good spot for Detroit. I really don't. You're looking at the injuries. They're piling up. Now you got Malcolm Rodriguez out. You wonder, how can this Detroit defense keep going? They've been phenomenal this year, but there's only so many good key contributors you can lose. But I'm looking at the Packers, man. I'm just not sold on the Packers. I haven't been this whole year. I'm sold on Josh Jacobs. I'm sold on the offensive line. But I do think this Packers defense is a little bit overrated. They don't have a great pass rush. Outside of Jair, does anyone really cover well on the back end? And you're just looking at this Detroit team. They are a force of nature when they're at home. Yes, they had a little bit of hiccup on Thanksgiving. We saw that coming. But I still think Detroit will get this run game going. And it comes down to, who do you trust more, Love or Goff? And I know everyone's going to say, Love's way better. Love's way better than Goff. Love obviously has the better deep ball. But if you're giving me Love versus Goff, I'm going Goff. But I also think Detroit runs the ball for 150 yards here. This is one of those games where they just spit the Packers out. Thursday night makes it a little bit more complicated. That's why I'm not betting it. Detroit to win in the cover with the minus 3.5. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk at my Minnesota Vikings. Falcons +5. I got the Falcons to cover, Vikings to win. Once again, the best bet on Patreon with the Chargers hit over the Falcons. And you're looking at a Falcons team that is out of ideas. They're out of coaching options. They're out of quarterback play. Kirk was absolutely pathetic against the Chargers, but I do think the Falcons cover here. The Vikings did not look good against the Cardinals. They were lucky to win that game, and honestly, they shouldn't have won it. I don't know what Arizona was doing in that fourth quarter. This game comes down to, who do you trust to play better defense, and that's the Vikings. The Falcons have just been a mind bender this whole year on defense. Talent level goes up, yet defensive performance goes down. Raheem Morris, I did not see that coming. I do think Kirk Cousins has a little bit of a bounce back day. Do I think he goes for 300? Do I think he comes into Minnesota and makes Minnesota regret moving on? No, I don't. I think that's far-fetched, but I don't think it's far-fetched to think Atlanta is competitive and that the Vikings win this one late. Give me the Falcons to cover, Vikings to win. Next game, we got the New York Jets dumpster fire at the Miami Dolphins. Fins minus 6.5. Money, money, money. Money. You say Miami 1 o'clock. I say bet the Fins. Last time we got at it was against the Patriots. And Miami at 1 o'clock is something special, is an absolute force of nature. I don't know how to quantify it. You can use temperature. You can say they cheat by keeping the opposing team in the sun. I don't care what way you want to mish and mash it. I just know the Dolphins at 1 o'clock are a special entity. And I trust this Dolphins team coming off that bad loss against Green Bay. They were not competitive, and people are throwing around the word soft and saying Mike McDaniel gives a bad example because he's shivering in the cold. That stuff is junk. I think they bounce back, and this Dolphins team has been nothing but mental toughness this second half of the year. I know you guys don't like hearing that, but that's the truth, and they've been a cash cow for us. On the other side of the football, man, you got a Jets team that this team is bad, and it's not bad talent-wise. Advanced statistics, this offense is very good, yet they always make mistakes. If they get the ball with a chance to win the game or tie it, you know they're not going to hit it. Rodgers looks old. I have to eat crow on that. But most importantly, this Jets defense just isn't what it was, and we keep thinking it's going to bounce back. We keep thinking Sauce Gardner's going to play good football, and it's just not happening, man. And I think the Dolphins get into the 30s here. And yes, this Jets offense, say what you will about them, but they still are a potent entity in this league. I just don't see them keeping up. Give me the Fins to win in the cover, make it a money pick, and I get it. This is a dangerous spot. This is the time of year where we see crazy results, where we could see Rodgers have an iconoclast type performance. But I'm going the Fins, winning the cover, make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the New York Giants. Giants +5. Giants cover, Saints win. Who's going to start, Luck or DeVito? I guess that's my main question going into this. But I felt like the Saints put up a miraculous effort against the Rams, and we had to sweat to get that money out of that game. And honestly, the way the Saints dominated that first half, and they didn't come out victor, I think that's going to set them back, and I would not be surprised if the Giants won this game. I know Dexter Lawrence isn't going to be on that D-line, but you're looking at a Saints team another week, another long list of injuries. McCoy's not coming back on the offensive line. I feel like that could be a big equalizer for the Giants, who just can't stop the run. And you do wonder, okay, like, listen, obviously Carr's going to move the ball better than whatever piece of crap the Giants put at quarterback. But is there a big difference in terms of explosion in these teams? And I do want to go back to last week. We're not betting last week, but I felt like the Saints put in an Alamo performance. That was their season on the line against the Rams. They came up short. I do wonder if this is a terrible spot for them. I do wonder if they blew their whole load on Sunday at home against the Rams. I think the Giants come in for a surprise, and you guys have wanted to bet the Giants every single week this year. This might be your chance. I'm not going to do it. Giants cover, Saints win. But like I said, I would not be surprised if the Giants stole this game in a long shot. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young alts. How about those player props? The Philadelphia Eagles. Panthers +12.5. Eagles winning the cover. Listen, the Panthers story's been cute. We've had them to cover the last 4 weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they cover here. The fundamentals obviously aren't good. I don't like laying 12.5, but this Eagles team is absolutely just explosive. And you look at this offense and you look at the Carolina Panthers defense. I actually really like the Panthers secondary. I felt like they were phenomenal against Baker, and they did one of the better jobs against a good Tampa Bay offense. But I'm looking at this Panthers front seven. I fucking think, man, that the Eagles run the ball for 150, 170 yards. I would not be surprised if Saquon Barkley has a career day. I know it's going to be hard to beat what he did against the Rams, but this is a great matchup, and I do think Bryce plays better. But like I've been saying this whole year, this young Eagles defense is something you don't want to sleep on. Give me the Eagles to win in the cover. I don't like the fundamentals of this one. Please do not bet it. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Tampa Bay Bucs. Bucs -6.5. Money. Money borderline. Bucs winning the cover. Borderline. Obviously, you don't love this one because Aiden O'Connell, we got to give him a round of applause. I know that Chiefs secondary, I told you guys the whole year that Chiefs secondary is vulnerable, but I felt like he played very good. And this Raiders defense, say what you will about them, say what you will about Antonio Pierce, but they play hard, and that always gives you a chance to cover. Plus, Antonio Pierce, the way he coaches games, it's more or less to cover, less about winning. That's my take on it. But I'm looking at a Bucs team. As long as Baker's healthy, I think the Bucs get to the 27, 30-point mark. And I'm not sure the Raiders offense can keep up. I'm not sure the Raiders are going to be able to run the ball. And the big problem with Tampa Bay this whole year has been that defense. They are vulnerable. We saw Bryce Young tear them up last week. But at a certain point, there's only so much the Raiders can do. Like, there's Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. But outside of that, who's going to really hurt you? Who's going to get the big plays against you? I really like the Bucs here, but like I said, the fundamentals aren't great, and you got Antonio Pierce coaching to cover games. Give me the Bucs to win in the cover. Borderline money pick. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Browns plus 6.5. Browns cover, Steelers win. This is the same as the game that ended up being a snow globe. I just picked the Browns to cover out of pure fundamentals. Division game. Browns always play the Steelers tough. Steelers were very impressive against the Bengals. They made me eat my words. And Russell Wilson, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'll let you guys make of it what you will, but he absolutely obliterated the Bengals. And the Bengals were getting pressure on him, and yet he was still making plays. But I also think when you talk about Jameis Winston, you have to put respect on his name. He is a certified gunslinger. And I said on Instagram a few weeks ago, like, he reminds me of when I first started watching the NFL, Steve McNair, Brett Favre. I'm not saying he's as good as those guys, but when Jameis catches rhythm, when that arm starts firing blazes, I absolutely love Jameis in any situation. And I do feel like this Steelers pass defense is vulnerable, especially against a quarterback like him. I think the Browns keep it close. Steelers win the game. Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals minus 2.5. Money, money, money. Money, I've been waiting for this one. I saw it move down to minus 2.5 today, and I got giddy. Cardinals winning the cover. Bounce back performance from the Cardinals. I can't believe they collapsed against the Vikings. I believe them laying an egg at Seattle. And Seattle has been playing better. A big part of it is their run defense. And that's why you need to approach this game with caution. I always worry about the Cardinals if they don't get Connor and that run game going. Kyler Murray has been phenomenal at times, but when that run game's not going, that Cardinals offense is bottom tier in the league. When they get that run game going, they're absolutely phenomenal. But this game comes down to home field. I think the desert is underrated. I actually think the desert's a better home field advantage than the Seattle Seahawks dome. Not dome, but you know what I'm saying. I think it's a better home field. And you're looking at this Cardinals defense. I feel like they're the best unit in this game. And they were great against Minnesota, but I think they'll be great again. And I think they win the turnover battle here. There's just too many turnovers from Geno Smith. We see it every single week. Crucial red zone turnovers. He almost tried to give that game away against the Cardinals, by the way, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Give me the Cardinals to win in the cover. I think they're the better coach team, and I think they're the better defensive team, and we're at December 3rd right now. So this is when defense takes over. This is when grittiness takes over. Give me the Cardinals to win in the cover. Make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Jacksonville Jags at the Tennessee Titans. Jags plus 3.5. Jags winning the cover. Jags winning the cover. And I don't know how much you guys want to hear about this game, but Mac Jones actually came off the bench and played well. His first 2 starts with the Jags were absolutely horrific. And then we finally saw him play well. And I think this Titans team really stinks. Obviously, both teams stink. But I do think this Jags team is fighting and they're playing with desire. And I really do think if you give me Mac Jones or Will Levis, I would go Mac Jones in this game due to him taking care of the ball better. Neither takes care of the ball well, but Will Levis is a turnover waiting to happen every single time he touches the ball. And you obviously like this Titans defense better. But ever since that Eagles game, I really feel like, I know the stats don't prove this and the final score lines don't prove this, but I really feel like this Jags defense has been playing better the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I think the Jags defense takes over here. I think the Jags win on an upset on the road against the Titans. The reason why you can't bet this is because, firstly, both teams could be wanting to just both teams can lose. There's just both bad. They're both poorly coached teams. I don't know which coach is worse, Callahan or Pederson. I would lean towards Callahan, even though Pederson is an easy target that everyone wants to dunk on. But I also feel like this Jags team is better overall, talent-wise. Give me the Jags to win in the cover in an upset on the damn road. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams. Bills minus 4.5. Rams cover. Bills win. Man, listen, that bet against the Saints should have been easy for the Rams, guys. It should have been easy. I mean, it looked easy in the second half, but that was anything but easy. It was very complicated, and I think that defines the Rams season. If they were playing a little bit better, you could see how they could pull an upset. But I do think the Bills find a way to win this game. And I can't see this Bills team taking their foot off the gas pedal. Now, the main weakness of the Buffalo Bills is that front seven, and you got to run the ball at them. But this Rams running game has been so up and down. They can't seem to get Kyren Williams going consistently, and I just don't get it. Offensive line gets healthy, and yet the run game takes a step back. I do think the Rams will be able to run it, but it's not something you can bank on. But at the end of the day, the quarterback that is playing the best football in this league, that should be the MVP, unless you want to give it to King Henry or Saquon, is Josh Allen. He's been absolutely exquisite this year, and I think that's the difference in this game. I think the Bills win it with a late field goal. I just can't see the Rams putting together a full four-quarter performance. I do think the Rams cover. I do like this Rams defense. But at the end of the day, man, I like this Bills secondary against Stafford. I think Stafford turns the ball over more to Josh Allen. That's the difference. Bills win, Rams cover. Next game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers +4. Money, money, money. Money. Chargers winning the cover, making a money pick. But listen, we need to see Ladd McConkey playing. We need Ladd McConkey out there because Herbert's been absolutely brilliant. He did have a pretty poor second half against the Falcons, but that's when the defense took over. He didn't need to do a whole lot. But also McConkey got hurt early in the third quarter, and there's just not a lot to throw to. That's why, before you put this bet in, make sure you see McConkey practice. It seems like he's questionable every single week for the last 10 weeks. But he's really the only Chargers target we can rely on. But I'm going back to my analysis of when we picked the Bills to get against the Chiefs. I feel like this Chiefs secondary is really, really bad. Outside of their number one corner, the rest of the guys just aren't performing well. Safeties, nickelback, second string corner. And that's where I feel like you can attack them. And I feel like Herbert is the guy for this situation. Now, we know the Chiefs are very good against the run, but the Chargers have become more of a pass team. On the other side of the ball, the Chargers defense had their best day of the year, and everyone's going to say, oh, well, Kirk Cousins was terrible. I don't know. I think that's deductive. I think that's lazy thinking. It just seems like every single week this Chargers team finds another way to win. They play physical. Derwin James is the X factor in this game. You put him man-to-man on Travis Kelce. You take Travis Kelce out of this equation, who the hell's Mahomes going to throw to? Look at Mahomes' stats. Like, they're comparable to Daniel Jones. I know he's looked a lot better the last 3 weeks, but I still feel like this Chiefs team is below average. They're subpar. They've been lucky. They were even lucky to beat the fucking Panthers. They even needed a call to beat the Panthers. So, obviously, I don't like getting against the Chiefs. It's not something I advise people doing. And going into this year, I said I will not be betting a Chiefs game. But at the end of the day, we only have 17, 18 weeks of the NFL, and we only have 16 to 14 games a window. We can't just say we're not betting a team. I am grabbing my nutsack. I am getting against the Chiefs again. I think the Chargers fucking win the game as well. But like I said, I'll repeat. I don't want to be reductionist, but I'll repeat it again. We need McConkey there, and then I feel like we can exploit this Chiefs secondary. Chargers winning the cover, making the damn money pick with the +4. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears, the Bears, out the San Francisco 49ers. Niners -4, Niners winning the cover. I mean, new coach bounce. I do think Eberflus is taking way too much blame. Like, I think Caleb Williams needs to take a little bit of blame for the lack of timeout call. Like, I don't think Jaden Daniels or Drake May would have let that clock run out. But I'm looking at this game, and I know Mason's out. I know McCaffrey's out. But one way you can get against the Bears defense this whole year is you run the ball down their throat, specifically their defensive tackles. Their linebackers are undersized. I feel like you can run it straight at them. And one thing we know about Shanahan's scheme, it doesn't really matter who the running back is. They will be able to have a running game. They will respond. This is the 49ers season on the line. Honestly, man, if we had McCaffrey or we had Mason, I would be money picking this for the 49ers. Like I said, the fundamentals aren't great because the Bears are very good in the secondary. Caleb does seem to be playing better. You got the new coach bounce component. You got a 49ers team that does seem to be reeling. Trent Williams, look at what happened to his wife and his kid. Like, there's a lot of bad shit happening in 49ers land right now. But I do think they respond. I don't think they're going quiet into the night. 49ers winning the cover. Next game, Monday Night Football. Aren't they doing something Simpsons for this? Isn't that why we couldn't flex it? Because they're doing Simpsons. Bengals -5.5 at the Cowboys. Bengals winning the cover. The Cowboys are playing some inspiring football defensively. But I listen, picking Bengals games is like playing Russian roulette. I'm just going Bengals because they're more explosive. Bengals winning the cover. There isn't a lot of science. And guys, I will be making an announcement. MLB, we will be doing it daily during the offseason. You guys wanted me to get in the NBA. Man, it's tough with all the three-pointers. I'm just not vibing with it. But we will do MLB once it starts. We'll go daily. We'll make money with the MLB. I appreciate you guys. Let's get this money. Share the damn videos. The best gambling show on the internet. Everyone have a damn good night.